Good morning, Chevra. Today is the 15th of Av, otherwise known as Tu B'Av. It's a very special day. Because of the joyous events which occurred on this day, our sages regarded the 15th of Av to be one of the two most auspicious days on the Jewish calendar. You know what the other one is? Yom Kippur. You imagine? It's customary today and onward to begin wishing each other Ksiva v'chasima tova, may be sealed and inscribed for good as we get closer to the month of Elul in preparation to the High Holy Days. Okay, so good yontif, everyone. And we're going to learn Tanya, continuing in Epistle 5 on page 70 in your Chayenu. Or on your app. Could be on your app. Whatever page that is. It's interesting because there are times, we've talked about this in the past, there are times when Tanya is very straightforward, down to earth, tshuva, stop doing the things you shouldn't do, start doing the things that you forgot to do, that you skipped, things like that, right? And then there are times when it gets a little more esoteric and it goes off sort of on a tangent, but everything's for a reason. And let's try to understand as we have a more, gets a little bit more complicated in the coming days, but if we understand a little bit, good, and certainly our souls understand. Okay, in today's lesson, although speech, Hashem doesn't have speech, but the way we describe the method of the way God created the world was through speech. So although speech, with which God created the universe, is represented by the lower level letter Hey, the lower level letter, which is Malchus, it's rooted in the higher level letter Hey, Bina. What's the lower level Hey? The last Hey of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And the higher is the first one, Yud. And then the Hey, that's the higher level. Okay. They both share the theme of revelation of something formerly contained into an expanded mode. So although this lower level Hey, the latter Hey of the four letter name of Hashem, Yud and Hey and Vav, and the last Hey, we're talking about the last one. So the supernal speech is of the level of Malchus, sovereignty, as alluded to in the pasuk. The king's utterance reigns. The Hey that is the source of speech is thus the lower Hey of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the holy name of Hashem, the letter which denotes the level of Malchus. The Rabbi Seinu Zechrenu Mivracha Darshu al Pasuk Ibiyah. Sages of blessed memory expounded this, that the world to come was created by the letter Yud, as we mentioned previously, and this world by the letter Hey. From their reading of the pasuk, for by Yud and Hey, Hashem created the worlds. Yud, Olam Haba, and Hey, this world. So since these are the first two letters of the divine name, again, it's the first Yud. There's only one Yud, but Yud. Excuse me. But there are two Heys. We're talking about the first Hey. So since these are the first two letters of the divine name, how are we taught here that the statement that this world was created by the letter Hey refers to the lower letter Hey, which is the second Hey? Why wouldn't you think it's the first Hey? This is because its source and the beginning of its progress into the state of manifestation from the obscurity of the Yud is influenced and drawn forth from the level of the higher Hey, of the first Hey. The obscurity of the Yud of Chachma is the source of every manner of revelation, Remember, we have just but a dot or just a little line, and that represents Hashem, but hidden. What's there? Just a line. Yud, it's nothing. Then hey, the light, the blessing, the flow of godliness starts to expand. So obscurity of Yud of Chachma is the source of every manner of revelation, both of the world to come as well as of this world. As this relates to the letters, it serves as the source of revelation, both from the form as well as the matter of the letters. It's only that in the resulting revelation of the letters, the form of the letters and the revelation of the world to come emanates from the letter Yud, from Chachma itself, while the revelation of the matter or external aspect of the letters emanate from the breath of the heart, from the letter Hey of the divine name. Sheyesh La. You see that dot, by the way? We're on the top of page 71. We talked about this yesterday. If there's a dot in the Hey, then you have to push forth the breath. So the way you would say it would be Sheyesh La. And if there's no dot, you would just say La without that extra breath. I'm glad we had it here so we can practice what we discussed. So Sheyesh La Hispashdus Oirech V'Reichav, the form or shape of the letter Hey has dimensions of length and width, right? It goes across on the top and it goes down on the side. Bina, to indicate the faculty of Bina, for the upper Hey of the divine name denotes the level of Bina. The upper Hey being the Hey right after the Yud. Which is the expansion of the concealed intellect into a state of manifestation and apprehension extending into Das. Again, we discussed this previously, that the letters, the shapes of the letters are no coincidence. In English language and all the other languages, the shapes are just to differentiate one from the other. But in Lashon HaKodesh, Asher, the Hey, every single letter has its significance, has the reason why it's shaped in a certain way. So when you have the Yud of Hashem's name, and then the Hey, the Yud represents Chachma, just the idea of Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There could be a tremendous amount in there, but it's hidden. We don't know what it means. It's just a dot. It's just a little, tiny little, if you back up a little, it's just a circle, a blob. The Hey expands sideways and down, which represents the flow of revelation of Hashem, whether it's the creation of the world or the flow of Shechina down into this world, starts to come through the Hey. And the Vav is aligned, so it continues to come straight down, right? It's like a pipeline. And then the second Hey as well continues to expand Hashem into the world. Bashba, Visayemes, Balev. Oh, I think I skipped a line. Let me back up a little bit so I don't skip anything. Lahoides al-bechinas bina, I'm sorry, to indicate the faculty of bina. So we have the Hey starting to spread out. And bina is to understand more what's hidden within the Yud. For the upper Hey of the divine name denotes the level of bina. Which is the expansion of the concealed intellect into a state of manifestation and apprehension. Now we're starting to get it, extending into what? Das, fully grasping. And it's the diffusion of how the flow of Bina culminates in the heart. As it's written in the Holy Zayar, the Bina liba of Halev mevin. Bina is in the heart, and by means of it, the heart understands. So this diffusion of Bina takes place where? In the heart. And from there, so now that the Bina is in the heart, from there it issues the breath, the original manifestation of the body, so to speak, of the letters of speech. From which become revealed from the concealment of the Yud through the 5 organs of speech, as we've discussed. Usmunas heitata michsivasa gamkein v'ispashtus eirech v'reichav. The shape, remember, we talked about the shape is important. The shape of the lower hay, which in its written form also has dimensions of length and width. It indicates the extension of Hashem's blessing over sovereignty of all the worlds, the Maila, Ulamata, Uledalit Sitrin, which extends upwards and down and in the 4 directions. All these directions, extending and issuing from the letters of the word of Hashem. As is written in Koheles, that the king's utterances reigns, as explained elsewhere. So just as a king of flesh and blood, let's say there's a king, and he rules through speech, what does he do? He doesn't go out himself and tell people what to do and work and command and fight wars or whatever. He sits in the palace. Whatever he says goes. So too, this is just a mashal, obviously, that the supernal speech extends Hashem's reign in all the dimensions of the created universe, not just our worlds, but of the galaxies, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all the other heavens, the spiritual realms as well. We talked about Olam Haba, we talked about the Gan Eden. Now, in parentheses, the Alter Rebbe finishes. We finish off this section by saying as follows: As for understanding somewhat the concept and nature of letters of speech in relation to godliness, divinity, inasmuch as Hashem has no form or body, and Hashem doesn't have a soul, chas v'shalom. So when we use examples that Hashem spoke, and Hashem reigns over things, and this and that, it's all metaphorically and anthropomorphically speaking. Anthropomorphically, you were by Levi's bar mitzvah, he used that in his bar mitzvah speech, that Hashem doesn't have a mouth, Hashem doesn't have a brain, Hashem doesn't have hands or eyes or lips. So everything we say is like, when we say anthropomorphic, it means like we say like a mouth, but Hashem doesn't have a mouth. So we just use those words to better understand. But even furthermore, when we use things like Hashem reigns, Hashem is the king and he gets crowned, these are all just words so that we could try to understand and have a relationship better. But of course, they don't really, in essence, relate to Hashem. So the takeaway is the Hebrew letter Hey appears twice in the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the holy, highest name of Hashem. And we talked about the Yud, we talked about the Hey, the width and length of the letter resembles the downgrading of energy which the Hey represents. It starts to bring that energy down. Right? It comes from the Yud. It seems to start off as a Yud. If you look at the end, I'm backwards here on this side. Or for you guys, it's on this side. It starts off, it looks like a Yud. If you would just stop as you're writing it, it would be a Yud. But then it gets stretched across and down. We don't even talk about the floating part. We're just talking about the top part, right? So it represents and resembles the downgrading of energy, which the Hey represents. It is all a delusion of divine, godly, infinite energy so that this world could be created. It brings it down so that we could have a connection and a relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, we continue right where we left off. We continue tomorrow, a little bit longer. See you then.